Have you ever wondered how some people manage to overcome seemingly impossible challenges? In a world where so many things feel beyond our control, it's easy to feel lost and powerless. But what if I told you there's a source of power that can completely transform your life? Yes, I'm talking about something that goes against everything the world preaches: faith in God. While many believe that strength comes from within us, the surprising truth is that we can do all things through Him who gives us strength, Philippians 4:13. Today, we're going to explore how this truth can be the game changer you need, shifting your perspective, renewing your faith, and transforming every area of your life. Curious? Stay with me until the end and discover how this powerful promise can revolutionize your spiritual journey. Life is full of challenges, isn't it? Sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is on our shoulders, and the feeling of weakness can be overwhelming. Yet, there's a verse that resonates deeply in many hearts. I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. Philippians 4 verse 13. This simple Bible verse isn't just a catchphrase, it's a powerful spiritual truth. When Paul wrote these words, he wasn't in a place of comfort. He was in prison. Even so, he understood that his strength came from God, not from the circumstances around him. This understanding is key to living a balanced spiritual life, where true strength doesn't come from us, but from God. Many people face situations that seem to have no way out. Whether it's a financial crisis, family problems, or health issues, it's easy to feel helpless. However, the Bible constantly reminds us that we are not alone. God is with us every step of the way, and He is the one who strengthens us in times of weakness. A practical example of this can be seen in the stories of people who have faced enormous adversity, but, through faith, have managed to overcome it. Maybe you've heard of someone who, despite a serious illness, maintained hope and found strength in God to keep fighting. It's in this divine strength that we can find the courage to face any battle. Applying this verse in our daily lives can transform the way we handle challenges. Imagine waking up every day with the assurance that no matter what happens, you have a greater strength by your side. That's the promise of Philippians 4 verse 13. To put this faith into action, start your day with a prayer asking God to strengthen you for the battles ahead. Moreover, when faced with a difficulty, remember to declare this confidence: I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. This simple act can completely change your perspective, turning despair into hope. Another way to strengthen this faith is to surround yourself with words and actions that reflect this confidence in God. Read the Bible daily, looking for passages that reinforce this idea of divine strength. Join prayer groups or attend services that help you stay focused on God. And most importantly, testify to this strength in your life. Share with others how God has strengthened you, whether in a casual conversation or a post on social media. When we testify to God's strength in our lives, we inspire others to seek that same strength in their own journeys. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to forget to nurture our spiritual life. Often, we focus on solving practical problems and forget that our spirit also needs attention. The Bible teaches us that a balanced spiritual life is essential to face life's challenges. Jesus invites us to seek God first, and all other things will be added to us. When we prioritize our spiritual life, we find the peace and strength needed to deal with the adversities that arise. An example of this can be found in moments of crisis, when everything seems to be falling apart. Those who cultivate a strong spiritual life are able to find serenity in the midst of chaos. They know that their peace doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on a deep connection with God. Imagine, for example, someone going through a significant financial hardship. If they have an active spiritual life, they will seek in God the guidance and peace needed to make wise decisions without despairing. It's this spiritual strength that allows us to face life's storms with firmness. To develop a rich spiritual life, it's essential to create habits that nurture this connection with God. Prayer is one of the pillars of this practice because it puts us in direct contact with the Creator. Setting aside time daily to talk to God, express gratitude, and ask for guidance is fundamental. Additionally, reading the Bible regularly gives us the wisdom needed to live according to God's teachings. Another powerful habit is meditating on verses like "I can do all things through him who strengthens me." These practices, though simple, have the power to transform our spiritual life and, consequently, every other area of our life. Finally, it's important to remember that spiritual life is not a solitary journey. Being part of a faith community can make all the difference. Being surrounded by people who share the same faith strengthens our walk and gives us support in difficult times. Whether in a prayer group, a local church, or a gathering of friends who share your faith, this exchange of experiences and mutual support is essential for spiritual growth. When we dedicate ourselves to cultivating our spiritual life, we are planting seeds that will bear fruit in every aspect of our existence. The presence of God is an indescribable comfort, especially in the most challenging times. Often, when we face difficulties, we feel like we're alone, navigating stormy seas without any direction. However, the Bible assures us that God never abandons us. He is with us every step of the way, in both joy and sorrow. Feeling His presence in our lives gives us a peace that surpasses all understanding, a certainty that no matter what happens, He is by our side, guiding and protecting us. Living with this daily awareness of God's presence completely transforms our perspective. By recognizing that God is with us at all times, we can face difficulties with more serenity and confidence. A practical example of this can be found in the story of Joseph in the Old Testament. Sold into slavery by his own brothers, Joseph never lost faith in God, and that made all the difference in his life. Even in the most adverse situations, he thrived because he knew God was with him, strengthening him in every trial. This same assurance is available to all of us if we open ourselves to feel God's presence. To experience this presence more deeply, it's important to cultivate spiritual sensitivity. This means being attentive to the small signs of God's presence in our daily lives. It could be a sense of peace amid chaos, a comforting word from a friend, or even a Bible reading that seems to speak directly to our hearts. Being open to recognizing God in every detail of life helps us strengthen this connection. A good practice is to start the day by thanking Him for His presence and asking Him to guide us in every decision, no matter how small. Finally, living in the presence of God doesn't mean being free from problems, but rather facing every situation with the certainty that we are not alone. This confidence can be seen in people who, despite facing great adversities, maintain an attitude of faith and hope. They understand that God is in control and that, in the right time, everything will work out for the good of those who trust in Him. This is the strength that sustains us and makes us declare with faith, "I can do all things through Him who strengthens me." When we understand and live this truth, our spiritual life becomes a journey of trust and peace. Faith has the power to transform lives in ways we often can't imagine. When we place our trust in God and surrender to Him with all our hearts, something extraordinary happens. Our life begins to change from the inside out. The Bible is full of stories of transformation, where ordinary people, full of flaws and weaknesses, were completely renewed by faith. And this transformative power isn't something distant or reserved only for the great biblical heroes. It's available to all who believe and trust in God, as mentioned in Philippians 4 verse 13, where we find the strength needed to face and overcome any obstacle. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it is an ongoing process. It's like planting a seed and tending to it every day, knowing that, in due time, it will grow and bear fruit. An example of this can be found in the life of Paul, who was once a persecutor of Christians, but, after encountering Jesus, had his life radically transformed. He went from being an enemy of faith to one of the greatest apostles, spreading the message of the gospel everywhere. This same transformation is possible in our lives when we fully surrender to God and allow Him to guide us. For this transformation to happen, it's important to nurture our faith daily. This involves prayer, reading the Bible, and practicing good deeds. Faith without works is dead, as James 2 verse 26 reminds us, and therefore, it's essential that our faith manifests in actions that reflect God's love. This could mean helping someone in need, forgiving an offense, or simply showing kindness in our daily lives. When we live according to our faith, We are allowing God to work in us and through us, transforming not only our lives but also the lives of those around us. Living by faith also gives us a new perspective on life's challenges. Instead of seeing difficulties as insurmountable obstacles, we begin to view them as opportunities to grow and strengthen our trust in God. This shift in mindset is one of the greatest signs of spiritual transformation. Suddenly, we realize that with God by our side, we are capable of facing any situation, for I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. This is the true transformation by faith, a renewed heart, full of peace, hope, and the certainty that God is in control of everything. Have you noticed how faith can completely transform your life? Believe me, when you put into practice what you've learned today, you're opening yourself up to live a new reality. Imagine the peace of facing any situation with the certainty that God is by your side, ready to strengthen you. The question is, are you ready to take that step of faith? Are you willing to transform not just your heart, but your entire life? Ready to take your faith journey to the next level? Get your copy of the yearly prayer and reflection journal today and experience the power of daily prayer, reflection, and spiritual growth. Whether you're seeking a deeper connection with God, looking for guidance, or simply need a source of encouragement, this journal is your perfect companion. Don't wait. Start your transformative journey now and let God's Word shape your life, one day at a time. Click the link in the comments and begin living a more purposeful, faith-filled year. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to keep learning more about how to strengthen your spiritual life. Together, we can walk this path of faith and transformation.